Welcome to another episode of The Black Knitter. I think this will be episode 10. I'm Liz, the Black Knitter, and if you've been here before, welcome back. Thanks so much for watching and supporting my channel by liking and subscribing. Um, I'm not trying to make money, I'm only trying to make it easier to find and support black and brown makers in our community. So, if this is your first time here, I'm glad you found me, and I hope you come back again and again. And I hope that you like it enough that you will subscribe and tell friends. Um, so, if you are interested in finding out more, educating yourself so that we can move toward a beloved making community, you're in the right place. If you're interested in learning about makers of color and supporting them, you are in the right place. Um, if you're interested in learning more about what it means to be black or brown in the making community, you're in the right place. And if you want to learn how to be a better ally to black and brown people, you are in the right place. So, welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for being here. This is probably going to be another long episode. I've spent a lot more money. And I'm going to ask you a little bit later to hold me accountable to limiting my yarn and yarn adjacent spending for the rest of the year. I'll talk more about that later, but I need to get control of myself. I have a lot of disposable income, but that does not mean I need to spend it all on yarn. Um, but again, I'll come back to that in a minute. Let me tell you what's been happening. So this is Habari Gani. What's the news? What have I been up to since the last episode? I'll start with a Nico update. Nico is doing well. He is my teacup Yorkie who is almost 15. We don't really know how old he is because he's a rescue. So he's either about to turn 15 or 16. But he has congestive heart failure and recently started experiencing some issues due to kidney failure. But he is still eating really well. He got a vitamin shot last week at the vet, but he won't need to go back for another couple of weeks. We'll check his blood work again just to make sure the things that we're doing are still working. Just encouraging him to drink a lot of water. And he really is eating with gusto. And I think I mentioned on the last episode that our signal that he was done would be when he stopped eating. So he's still continuing to eat well. So that's really good. What else can I tell you? We're coming to the end of the semester where I work. I work at a university. And so there's a lot of kind of end of the academic year stuff going on. It's one of my favorite times of year because there's a lot of celebration of our graduating seniors. A lot of that will be happening. Of course, commencement will be happening. There's a lot of award ceremonies. So commencement is coming up in a couple of weeks. We actually have two really special commencements at my university. One is for students who identify as Black, Latinx, or Indigenous. So those groups that have been historically excluded from higher education. So they have a special commencement for those students who want to participate in that. Has a lot of cultural elements to it. So it's really, really special. And then we also have a lavender graduation for our students who identify as LGBTQIA+. That's another really special ceremony. Um, I love those. I also love our university commencement, and I typically participate in that as a volunteer. I get to check in graduates, so I get to see students I worked with over the years, and say a final congratulations to them at commencement. So that's pretty fun. So it's a good time of year. I'm also almost got the grant I've been working on submitted. It's due tomorrow. Today is Sunday, the 24th. It's due Monday. I have to do one more run through the final package that our sponsored programs office will submit in the system. And we were supposed to do that Friday, but it took a while to get some signatures over there. I'll do that first thing Monday morning. I'm a firm believer in work-life balance, so I try not to work on the weekends if I can avoid it. I'll look at that first thing Monday morning so that it can go ahead and be submitted. So I'll be really happy to have that off of my plate so that I can get some other things done that I've been setting aside while I finish this grant. So that's almost done. So I'm excited about that. I have to thank those of you who prayed for me and with me and sent me good vibes for my Maundy Thursday sermon. I just, took some time to be still and listen, and came up with a message that was, I think, very well received. A lot of people came up to me. I got to do the hand washing part of Maundy Thursday service, and a lot of folks were really appreciative of the things that I had to say. So thank you again for your prayers. I appreciate that. I did post some pictures on Instagram. We didn't stream it. My pastor is pretty selective about what we stream and what we don't stream because he really wants to encourage people to be at church in person. But one thing that has happened at our church is we have a traditional service and a contemporary service. I'm a contemporary service person. The folks that go to my Sunday school class, most of them, all but like one or two, go to the second service. It's a Sunday school class geared towards that group of folks. But since we started having in-person services again, the attendance at that service has been pretty low. So our pastor made a decision a couple of weeks ago to put the second service on hiatus. He calls it remodeling. We're going to really think about what we want that service to look like and how we can, get some staffing in place so that folks who have kids there's a children's program in place for them, those kinds of things. So that means that my in-person Sunday school class is also on hiatus, sort of. The in-person part of it is on hiatus. So I will be posting Sunday school lessons on my Sunday school channel again. I actually posted one this morning, just a short devotion. Because we were actually supposed to be in person today, and the entire praise band was exposed to COVID. So we made a decision to cancel second service today. So there is a short devotion on my Sunday school channel, and I am going to go back to posting Sunday school lessons on that channel. So if you're into that, I'll post the link below. You can check it out. Happy to see some of you over there if liberal Christianity is your thing. Um, all right, so I think that's it. Oh, the other thing is I have a 1984 or 5 um, Mercedes. It's a 380 SL. It's a hardtop convertible. So it's a historical vehicle. And we keep it stored in the winter because we're in Northeast Ohio. We get bad winters here. So we don't drive it in the snow. But this weekend, where we are, the weather has been fantastic. It's been in the 80s and sunny. So we got it out, but we're actually preparing it to sell it because we don't drive it a lot, even though when we do drive it, it is a ton of fun. It's a vehicle that my dad gave me. My dad and I have a mutual love of all things Mercedes. He actually gave me this necklace. I wear it all the time. It's a little Mercedes emblem. But I have a Mercedes that I drive every day, a little 250, a GLA 250. And when I got that, my dad was like, you should sell Goldie. That's what we call the old Mercedes, because it's gold. So we're probably going to sell it. But it is a lot of fun to drive. My husband and I love taking it out when the weather's really nice and, taking the hard top off, putting the convertible top down and just driving around. It's a lot of fun. So we're getting ready to put that, I think we're going to put it on the Mercedes auction site. So we'll get pictures of it probably today and get that going. So that is all of the updates, I think. Okay, so now it's time for Elimu or education. And I thought we would do something a little different for Elimu this week. One thing that happened since the last episode is that a Black woman-owned yarn shop opened near me. So exciting. I was really happy to learn about it. It's in Oberlin, Ohio, which is about an hour from where I am. Oberlin is where Oberlin College and Conservatory is located. Oberlin, if you don't know, is considered the Yale of the Midwest. It is a highly selective private college with a really great history. When they were founded in 1833, they were the only college in the country that admitted both women and Black people. That was unheard of. So they have been, they have a history of being really progressive, because from the time that they opened, they admitted both of those groups, and a lot of colleges did not do that. The other thing about Oberlin College is that, in addition to having really great academic programs, they have a world-renowned conservatory of music. So really great musicians come out of Oberlin College. But anyway, the yarn shop is located there, and I was able to visit. I interviewed the owner, and I bought a lot of stuff. So I'm going to insert here the footage of that visit and the interview. The shop is called It's For Ewe, an inclusive fiber community, and it's owned by Lisa Whitfield. Check it out right here. Hey, this is Liz, the Black Knitter, and we are in Oberlin, Ohio today to check out For Ewe. So come along, I'm going to talk to the owner, Lisa. When did you start knitting or crocheting?
I started crocheting when I was about 5. My grandmother taught me how.
Your grandmother taught you?
Yes. My grandmother was a master seamstress and worked in a factory in Philadelphia and had a lot of things in some of the upscale department stores. So she was crafty, just very, very crafty. But I learned to knit when I was 11. I was on the bus on the way home from school. It was a really crowded bus. And I got a seat next to a lady who was knitting.
Awesome.
And she must have seen how thirsty I looked because I was staring at what she was doing because it just looked so magical. And she took some scrap yarn and a spare pair of needles out of her bag and showed me how to cast on.
Wow.
Thank God it was a long bus ride because she taught me how to knit, but I didn't learn how to purl or cast off. So that I had to learn on my own, and my parents wouldn't buy me any yarn or knitting needles, so I used string and 2 pencils. So when I got older, I was able to get my own supplies, but I will never forget that bus rider, that lady, because she changed my life and never knew.
That's really awesome. I find that knitters are really open people when you
Really
get
generous.
to know them or show interest even. Yeah. I taught myself to knit, but my story is a little similar in that I didn't have any supplies and my family was pretty poor, but my mom had these skewers in the kitchen.
Oh, right, yeah.
And so
like
I had
bamboo skewers? Or
well,
metal
these were
ones.
metal.
Right. They used to have those for like those 70s hibachi things.
Yes.
I remember those. Oh,
yes.
my goodness.
So I used those. I just kept using the same yarn over and over again.
That's awesome. Make a way out of no way.
Exactly. I didn't take my first class until about a year ago.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. So tell me why you decided to open up For Ewe.
I had a lot of reasons for wanting to open For Ewe. Primarily because Oberlin was sort of a crafting store desert. We had, actually no, let me not say that. Let me back up a little bit. There had been a store in town that sold yarn and had little things going on, but it was part of a home decor store, and that store closed down. So for about 5 or 6 years, there were classes at the Ben Franklin downtown, and there was yarn at the Ben Franklin, and there still is yarn at the Ben Franklin. I didn't want to carry yarn that they carried because I was interested in other kinds of yarn. So I didn't feel that it was a competitive thing. The people who go to Ben Franklin will probably continue to go to Ben Franklin. I wanted to start a yarn store with high quality, affordable yarns that you would normally have to drive 30 minutes or more to get to a store to purchase. And it felt odd that in a creative space like Oberlin, a place with a college community, a place with an elder community, the Kendall facility, there was no place where people who didn't have access to transportation or were perhaps too old could get easy access to nice yarn and supplies really quickly. And mail order is available to everyone, but you can't squish yarn on a computer.
Yeah,
that's
a problem.
You can't squish yarn through the mail. And you know I just lost a package of yarn, so now I'm really hurt. But I wanted the community to have a place where they could come and get a nice high quality product and not have to spend money on gas and do all of that effort. There's also the things that were going on in the craft community a few years ago. You know, folks of color, we started to talk about our experiences in other stores. And I have a lot of friends who are not necessarily people of color, but they might be from the queer community, or they might be, you know, in another way marginalized. And I heard so many stories, particularly one friend of mine, beautiful black sister, just gorgeous, She said she had never once in her 40 years felt comfortable in a yarn store. And I cried. It broke my heart. This
That's
is one
a
of
common
the most
story.
It really
it's a common
is.
Story. Yeah.
And I told her the other day, I was like, this is all because I love you. I want you to come into my space and never feel that you can't touch the yarn, that you can't enjoy yourself and look around and spend time.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had quite a few of the students from Oberlin College and Conservatory come in, and these kids are in the middle of exploring.
Yeah.
They're beautiful, wonderful young people. And in another store in the area, they might not be welcomed as warmly as they are here. And I'm just so happy that people can come here. Everyone who's come in the door has said to me, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. So I did this for them. This is really, when I say an inclusive fiber community, I mean every word of that. I want knitters here. I want crocheters here. Gender identity doesn't matter. Who you love doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
What color you are doesn't matter. Come on in.
Yeah, I love that. One of the reasons why I was so excited to come to hear your story was because not only that this is a Black female-owned business, woot woot, but that you are really intentionally making space for people like me who aren't going to feel comfortable going into a different space because of experiences that they've had. I've talked to so many people. I tell people on my channel all the time, you guys have heard me say this before, that every Black and brown person I know who is a knitter or crocheter has a story about a bad experience in a yarn shop. So I am so thrilled that you are here and creating this space for us. On my channel, in addition to talking about how race impacts the making community, because I'm a sociologist and so I do that. But I also like to introduce people to Black and brown makers.
Yes.
So first, who is your favorite Black independent dyer?
Oh, that would be Adela Colvin.
Okay.
I mean, that was the quickest answer ever, right? I'm wearing my Adela earrings, by the way.
Those are really nice.
Bertie Parker.
Yes.
Love these. Yeah. A lot of my business really took off about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Back up. I reached out to Adela after I heard her on the Militantly Mixed podcast. Because I'm a person of mixed race. And, that presents certain complications within both the white community and the Black community.
Sure.
Because it's like, where do you belong?
Yeah.
And I heard her interview, and it resonated with me. And so I reached out and I wrote to her. And I was like, I have this great idea, but I'm not sure, and I'm really nervous, blah, blah, blah. And she was incredibly encouraging to a stranger. She didn't have to answer me, but she did, and I really appreciated it. Fast forward about 2.5, 3 years, Adela sees on Instagram that I liked a post of hers. She clicked on my profile, saw my name, remembered the messages I'd sent her, and reached out to me. Oh my goodness, you did it. Can you hop on a live in 5 minutes? So I dropped everything because I'm like, Adela wants a live. I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
So
that's how I found out.
That's how quite a few people found out, because that's impacted my Instagram and Facebook following, but it's also several people have come here to shop because they saw that Instagram live. Yeah. So aside from the fact that I loved her as a person, I loved her as a business model, I loved her product, I've just felt personal love from her. And so, that was the easiest answer I could have given you to any question.
Yeah, for sure.
She's amazing.
Awesome. Do you have a favorite Black designer?
Disturbing the Fleece.
Okay.
I like the stuff I'm seeing out of that, especially because there are a lot of young people in the community here who are going toward a gender non-binary expression, and I particularly like what we in the 60s, 70s, and 80s used to call unisex or androgynous. I like sort of the whole genderless, it's like, it's clothing, it's beautiful, wear it. And I know that she has been very intentional in putting out patterns that anyone can wear.
Yeah.
And I, again, it's part of my whole mission for inclusivity. I want people to have that at their fingertips.
Yeah.
So she's probably my favorite Black designer.
Awesome. She's actually doing a knit along right now of her Wafla sweater cardigan
Very
pattern.
nice.
I'm participating in that. I don't think I'm going to finish by the time the cowl is done, because I have cast on way too many things.
I understand that problem. It's a high-class problem.
It is a great pattern. You should check it out if you haven't done so already.
I'd like to mention one other person. This is
yeah.
not a Black pattern designer, but this is another inclusive pattern designer,
Okay.
Jacqueline Cieslak,
Okay.
who I really love her stuff. I have her in Body magazine that is done by Pom Pom Publishing.
Okay.
She does size inclusivity.
Nice.
And she has patterns. I actually was supposed to be test knitting one of her patterns, but I did that and opened a yarn shop at the same time. And the yarn shop kind of, I was supposed to be done like 2 weeks ago, and it's bad, but I'm sorry, Jackie.
I understand.
But I love that it's not just add more stitches and wing it. She is very intentional about the math, about, okay, you can make your bicep a little bigger by doing this. You can make your bust line a little bigger by doing this. She has darts. She has fitting. Her designs are absolutely beautiful, no matter what size you are.
Okay,
And
that's awesome.
I love the whole body positivity movement. I think it's great, especially as a woman of color. You know, we are not large in the same places other people might be large, or small in the places other people might be small. We are curvy, and so we need clothes that make us look good. And I love that she's doing that.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. What's your favorite yarn that you carry here?
Ooh. That's like asking me to choose one of my favorite children.
I knew that would be hard.
The good news is I have a boy and a girl, and they're both my favorite. That's a tough one. I don't know if I can pick like one favorite. If I had to pick my favorite washable yarn, it would be the Spud and Chloe sweater, which I have a trunk show of. If I had to pick my favorite plant-based only, it would be the Mojave by Kelborn Woolens. I'm trying to do this by category so I don't leave anybody out. If I had to pick my favorite hand dye, okay, we're going to leave that alone. I can't pick my favorite hand dye. You know what I can do? This is one of my favorite hand-dyed yarns.
It's very pretty.
This is my friend Jean, who lives in Cleveland. I'm going to shout her out. Destination Yarn.
Cleveland.
This is a Cleveland-based
Local.
dyer.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to get some of that then.
Mm-hmm. And she and Adela and Kim Russo, who is in Virginia, Kim Dyes Yarn, they got together and did some pattern work with their 3 yarns together.
Really?
And so you had a white woman dyer, a Black Latina woman dyer, and an Asian American woman dyer. So that collaboration was wonderful.
That's awesome.
So I have some Jean, I'm about to get some Adela, and then I got to work on some Kim, and I'll have that wonderful independent dyer representation going on.
Awesome. Yeah. Those are really nice.
They are. They're some of the prettiest yarns I have. So I can't choose. I'm sorry, Liz. I could try. I love yarn. It is really hard to pick.
Yeah.
Which is why I had to surround myself with it.
And you said earlier that the stuff that you carry is stuff that you have used?
I have used practically every yarn in this shop at least once.
Okay.
Yes.
That's important to know.
Very much so. I do not use acrylic yarn on a regular basis, but the acrylics that I chose were because I have crocheter friends who I know tend to like to crochet with acrylic yarn. I picked yarns that had low toxin counts, that passed at high levels of environmental safety, and one of them I have used before, and if you touch this yarn, you would never know it was acrylic.
Okay, great.
So I I want people to be happy with their
Right.
product, and I want to be able to speak for the products in my store. And if I have a yarn I've never used or I don't know anything about, I can't do that. So
All right. Isn't that awesome? We had a great time there. And if you can't visit in person, you should check out her website and buy some things online. As you saw in the clip, she's supporting other women owned and local independent dyer businesses. So if you buy from her, you're also supporting a number of women owned businesses. So I hope you will check her out. Now it's Kumba time. Let's get into some creative knitting content. I have one finished object. My whips are still out of control, y'all. I'll just start there. Um, but I did finish one object, and I'll insert a couple of pictures here because I already sent it to my daughter. But I finished the Kiss Me More top test knit that I was doing. It came out really nice. The pattern released on Monday the 18th. So it is available. She'll be linked. Her Instagram will be posted below. So you can check out that pattern and others that she has. It's a really quick knit. And it's great for summer. So, as we're moving into summertime, it's a great option. My daughter really, really likes it. She actually asked for another one, but in dress length because she really likes the way that the top fits. So I'll think about that. I'm not casting on another thing right now. But it's really cute, as you can see by the picture. Um, the designer, Shauna K. Salmon, has a number of patterns. She's actually currently doing another test knit for a dress that's really cute. But again, I'll link her Instagram below. So that was my one finished object. I haven't done any work on my hitchhiker shawl. That's the thing that I keep at work because I've been focusing on that grant. So I haven't been doing any knitting at work. And I haven't done any work on the Fezeka shawl. So I won't show that. But I did buy some yarn for the Fezeka shawl because I was almost out of the Vesper colorway. So I'll show you, even though it's a purchase. I will show it to you. I have it in one of my yarn and whiskey bags still. And so I bought some more MCN. It's not the Vesper colorway because Sarah at Superfine Yarn Co. was out of that color and I didn't want to wait. So I got some more of her West 25th Street base. That's her MCN. It's a DK weight, and this colorway is called Fling. It's really cute. So it's already all caked up there. Isn't that pretty? Lots of colors. So I think even though this isn't gray, it has some gray in it. So I think it'll go really nicely with the Vesper. So that is that. I am making progress on my husband's sweater, the single malt sweater. Open this up. This is a Be Crafty bag. One of my young friends gave me that for a birthday present. So I did what I said I was going to do and put a progress keeper on here. So you can see where the marker is. That's where I was at the last podcast. And I finished the body. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And I've started a sleeve. I was going to do these two at a time, but I decided not to. So I'm just keeping track of the decreases there. Still really enjoying the pattern. So you can probably tell what happened on the bottom here. I forgot to switch to a smaller needle. So it's a little loose on the bottom. So I probably need to rip it back. And if you have any ideas about how to do that in the least painful way, I hate ripping stuff out because it's so hard to keep track of the stitches and not drop a stitch. And, it's ribbing, so it's knits and purls. So if you have any tips, drop them in the comments below, please. I could use some help. I might also go in and see my knitting teacher. If you're in the Akron, Cleveland area, check out classes at Harps and Thistles, taught by Judy Hershey. She is a really, really great teacher. And she's just really good at figuring out what you did wrong when you don't know what you did wrong and things like that. And she also offers, the shop offers, knit clinics where you can pay like $10 and you go in and whoever's doing the knit clinic that day, they help you figure out problems. So it really is like first aid for your knitting. So that's why they call it a knit clinic. So I'll be on vacation in a couple of weeks. I'll probably run by there and see if she can help me figure it out. But again, if you have some tips, let me know in the comments. I probably should have used a lifeline, but I was just on a roll and just kept going. I was just like, ooh, I'm to the point where I can start the ribbing now. And I just kept knitting. Oh. Another thing that So I told you my whips were out of control, but I cast on another thing right after the last episode, actually. So what happened was Judy Hershey, the knitting teacher I was telling you about, she's teaching a class on the night shift shawl. That's a pattern by Andrea Mowry. And I've knit that pattern before. I really loved it. It was a really fun knit, and I got to use up a lot of yarn that I just had, bits of. It's a really good pattern for that. But Judy's teaching a class, and so I just made an impromptu decision. I was on my way home from church. It was the Sunday before Easter, so Palm Sunday. And I was like, I looked at my watch and I was like, oh, that class is still happening. Like, it's not over yet. So I just, and my house is, the shop is between my house and the church. So, it was real easy to just get off the highway and go. And I was like, you know what? I haven't taken a class in a while. I think I want to try and see if I can get in this class. So I just got off the highway and went into the shop, and they were sitting there. There was about 30 minutes left in the class. And I walked up and I was like, "Hey, Judy, is it too late for me to join this class?" And she was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah." I didn't have anything with me. So I picked yarn, I've got some needles, and I sat down and knit for the last 30 minutes of the class. I already had the pattern. It was on my phone. So I just sat down and started working on this shawl. Ridiculous. But that's what I did. So, like I said, I love this pattern. I have a friend who has a birthday coming up, so I'll probably give it to her. And I'm in the, I just started a new row, so I'm not going to be able to show it the best, but there it is so far. Isn't that cool? So, yarn is kind of bunched up here. So it's just a repeat. So you have like single slips and double slips, but it's basically just a slip stitch pattern. And the pattern is written in such a way that in every section you can change color. So every section uses two colors, but every section you can change colors. So you can use a bunch of colors, which is what I did with my first one. This one, I'm using 2 balls of jewel spun. So the color changing is happening in the balls. So I just grabbed these off the shelf at the yarn shop. So I think these will go together. And it's working out really well. So one ball is called Glacier. There's the label there. And it is, I don't even know what the fiber content of this is. Let me see. This is a 200-gram ball. Oh, here it is, I think. Oh, it's 100% acrylic. So you can wash this, okay. But it feels really nice. Like, I can't tell it's acrylic. But I like that it is washable. So my friend won't have to worry about, ruining it if she puts it in the washer. So one is called Glacier, and the other one is, I'm so organized here, y'all. Nordic Noir. All right, so Nordic Noir. I don't know if you can see that. It's not focusing very well. Nordic Noir and Glacier in jewel spun. So, oh, and this bag, my supervisor gave this to me. Her mother made it. Isn't that beautiful? African fabric. I love this. She was coming out of the office one day, last week, and I was like, I love that bag. She was like, really? I was like, yes, I love it. She was like, oh, you can have it. And she pulled out what she had and handed it to me. She was like, I have another one. You can have it. I was like, what? Yeah, but her mom made this. Isn't that beautiful? Love that. All right. My other whip that I wanted to show is my Wafla cardigan. I'm still participating in the knit along that Disturbing the Fleece, Fatima Hinds, is doing. And I have not worked on this a lot. Again, I've just not been doing a lot of knitting because of this grant. But I did make a little bit of progress on this yesterday. I got my new yarn from Essence of Autumn. I bought some balls because I know I wasn't going to have enough of the walnut color, which is the brown. So I bought some more. That's her label. Isn't that beautiful? So I got some more BFL. I didn't want to wait. It was going to be like 6 to 8 weeks to get some more of the walnut because she had to order it and then dye it. So I just bought some BFL that I thought would work well with the color that I already had. So this is called Maritime. Again, it's 100% BFL, non-superwash. It has a nice sheen to it, which I love. It feels really nice. And it's knitting up really nice. So this is where I am. So I'm going to stripe the blue with the brown and then transition so the top of the sweater is the blue. And then I'll probably mimic that on the sleeves. But I really like it. I love this pattern, like I said before. It just has some nice squish because of the cabling. And it even looks really great on the wrong side. Look at that. It's really cool. So that the Wafla knit along is still happening. I don't think it's too late to join. All you have to do is cast on and, on Instagram, just put the hashtag Wafla cow. But that has been really fun to knit. All right, so that's it for the whips that I'm going to show today. Now it's time for Ujamaa, Cooperative Economics. I've been doing a lot of cooperative economicing. So I told y'all I have a problem. I purchased a lot of yarn. I am going to drop in some footage of what one of my friends calls my wall of wool shiggity. So it's my yarn stash because I have a lot of yarn, y'all. So I'll drop in the footage so you can see what it looks like. But for me, it's a lot. I'm a slow knitter. And so I've got much more yarn right now than I can use in the next year, I think. So, moving forward, I want to really limit my purchasing. I want to be more intentional about my purchasing. So this is what I'm going to do. First, when I want to cast something on, I need to shop my stash first. And if I don't have what I need for that particular project, what I need to do is just put that project in my queue. It is really hard for me to look at what I have and then find a pattern to make from it. So with this strategy, I'm trying to work it from the other way. So if I see something, then I need to look at my stash, and if I don't have what I need for it, then that project just needs to go on my queue. I just need to save it for another time. And I think the other thing is that I need to think about doing more one skein projects. Yarn Hellions is doing a one skein make along right now. I'll try to remember to link them below. There are a lot of really cool patterns out there that you can make with one skein. The hitchhiker shawl is one, um, and there are some really nice black and brown designers that have some really cool one skein projects. So um, I really need to do that. Be more intentional about what I take on and really looking at my stash um, before starting a new project. Um, so what that's gonna do, we'll see. um, I only want to purchase items that I need for a specific project. Now that's hard because, I just said I'm trying to just put things in my queue, right? Um, but I am going to give myself some room to do some purchasing. But if I do purchase, I want to be purchasing for specific projects, not just, because I really like a colorway or I like the way a yarn feels. I want to be, like I said, I want to be intentional. So that's going to be really hard because I like to purchase what I like um, when I see it. I get pretty giddy when I go into yarn stores. um, so that's going to be hard. But I'm going to try really hard to make purchases when I need something for a specific project, but only after I've shopped my own stash first. So, um, the other thing that I want to do is to limit my yarn and yarn adjacent purchases to no more than $100 a month. That's a really generous yarn budget. It really is. It's more than what I really need to spend, and much more than most people can spend, right? And I recognize that. Um, but to motivate myself to actually spend less than $100 a month, I am going to challenge myself to donate what I don't spend each month to my local chapter of Girls on the Run. Girls on the Run, if you haven't heard of it, I'll try to remember to put a link below if you want to check it out. It's a girls empowerment program. They use training for a 5K as a way to teach girls things like positive and assertive communication, leadership, self-esteem, those kinds of things. And for less than $200, about $170, I if I can donate, $170, then that provides a full scholarship for a girl whose family can't afford the program fee. So, if we round up to 200, that's, I could potentially support 6 girls in Girls on the Run if I don't spend any money on yarn. I will spend some money, but it's a really good program. It's one that I've supported through my own volunteer time, and I've seen the impact of the program, and they are really the director of my local chapter is really committed to making sure that girls who can't afford it have access to the program. So they actually offer the program in schools in Akron, where I grew up. And those girls don't have to pay. Um, so, so that's what I'm going to try to do, um, to motivate myself not to spend some money. Now, with that being said, the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival is coming up in a couple weeks, weekend after next. I will be there. I'm probably going to spend some money. So, but I'm going to limit my purchases. So I'm going to make sure that I walk all around and see everything before I make any decisions about purchases. And no more than $100. That's the goal. And I'll report back so you guys know what happened. If you're going to be there, there's going to be a podcaster meetup at 2:00 on Saturday. So I'll be there. So come say hi. I'd love to see you if you're going to be at that show. All right, so let me tell you about these purchases. Buckle up, y'all. My goodness, it's going to be a lot. All right, I had to take a little break because I was almost late for my knitting class for the night shift, y'all. So I am back, and I have switched to wine because it's almost 2:00 in the afternoon now. And I want to show you my purchases. So there's going to be some crinkling. Let's start there. Some of you like that, some of you don't. I'm into ASMR stuff, so I kind of like it. But the first thing I'm going to show you is my Knit Stars purchase. I did a purchase to support Gigi of Gigi Made It. So I'll show you what I got. They sent me some nice things. So they sent me a handwritten thank you card, which was very nice. I got a journal in the signature Gigi color, orange. And it's a dot journal. You probably can't see that very well, but it is a dot journal, which is kind of cool. I love journals, so and I'm gonna hold this down here so it doesn't crinkle too bad. I have 2 skeins of Lola Bean yarn. Look at that. This yarn is on the Dream Bean base, which is a merino cashmere silk blend. It's fingering weight, 100 grams for 437 yards. Look at that. And these colors go really nicely together. I'm probably going to make a really nice shawl for my mother out of that. Love these colors. So that was the first purchase to show you. The next purchase I made is also Lola Bean, because y'all, she is the GOAT when it comes to dyeing some colors. So I just love her. And I was waiting to open this until I recorded. So the first thing that I purchased is a collaboration that she did with Knit Circus. You can see that. This colorway is called Joy Comes in the Morning. And for this particular purchase, $10 of every skein goes to support Stacey Abrams' gubernatorial campaign. So she is running for governor of Georgia again. And so I purchased this to support her campaign. And then Adela dyed some Black Panther colorways again. Those have not been available for quite some time. Love Black Panther. And so whenever I see colorways that are designed or inspired by Black Panther, I get them. So all of these are on her Otebo bean, Otebo. That's the name of the base. It's 100% superwash merino. I think that's the way you say that. I'm not real sure. So the first color, let me tell you, this is a heavy worsted. It's 213 yards, 115 grams. This first one is called Wakanda Pride. Love this. Red, black, and green. A little bit of yellow speckles. So it's got those Pan-African colors. Love that. The next one I got is called Wakabi. And look at that. That's really pretty. It's got some orange and blue and black and gray and white. Just so many colors in here. Green. It's really, really pretty. And all these are the same weight. And then this one is called I Need a Shiro. This one was actually inspired by one of the costumes that I can't think of the name of the character now. The sister in the movie. I just had it in my brain and it totally went out of my brain. But that is really pretty, and this is really accurate. Like you can see all of these colors if you look at the inspirational photo that she shared. So really nice. So I'm glad I got some of those colors. Everything's sold out now. But if you want to be able to get a hold of some Lola Bean yarn, sign up for the newsletter, because that's the best way to know when a shop update is happening. All right. So the last thing I want to show you is the purchases I made at For Ewe, an inclusive fiber community. I had a lot of fun hanging out with Lisa. She is great, and she has some really nice stuff in her shop. So here we go. I'm just gonna put the bag up here. There's a lot. So first thing I did, the first thing I'm gonna pull out here, a couple of bags. So some project bags. This is really nice. You can tell why I bought this. It's got a lot of African masks on it. So really nice, simple drawstring bag. It's got a couple of pockets on the inside. Really, really nice. And it's got a box bottom, so it will stand up when you have some things in it. I got a little, this is really cute. This is called a Bali bag. Let me put this on the floor. It's Grogu. But this is for a ball of yarn. You can put it in there, and then you can, have your working yarn pulled up through, and you can snap it closed, so it holds your ball of yarn all together. Really cute. Couldn't resist that. I got some stitch markers. I love these because you can make one right, make one left, SSK, knit two together, when you're working on a pattern. So those are really helpful. So I'm excited to use those. I got a copy of Embody. This is a collection that came out. It's a capsule collection that came out quite some time ago, but she had some copies of it. Some really nice knitting and sewing patterns in here. I sew as well, but really size inclusive. And the designs in here are really fantastic and look really kind of comfortable, but professional, which is, that's my jam. So I'm looking forward to doing some sewing out of here in particular, but some knitting as well. So I got that. Really nice collection. And then I bought several skeins of yarn to add to my wall of wool shiggity. So I bought some things that I've never bought before. The first thing I bought was a couple of skeins of Wonderland yarns. So here's the first one. This is called Tea Time Darjeeling number 338. And it is superwash merino. It's a sport weight. Love the color of this. And it feels really, really nice. And then here is another, and this is part of their Mad Hatter collection. It says right there, Mad Hatter. And this color is part of the Tea Time Elderberry Tea, number 334. Really, really nice. So you could put these together in something. But love the feel of these. Very, very squishy. Love it. And then the other yarn I got is from a local to me dyer. I got a lot of this. All right, so this last little bit is a lot. I bought these because they go together. I'm gonna make something out of them that they're gonna go all in the same project. But this is DK weight yarn, 231 yards for 100 grams. And these are all by Destination Yarn. And it is a local to me indie dyer. Look at these. So there's a green and a green gray, and one that has gray and gold and like burgundy in it, and then gold, and then burgundy. So I think these will make a really good project together. They are 100% superwash merino. Feels really nice. The colors are really great. So I'm looking forward to making something with that. So that's it. Yeah, the bag is empty. So hopefully that is enough yarn for now. Yeah, if you get a chance, check out For Ewe in Oberlin. And also do whatever you can to support your local yarn shop. I think a lot of them are starting to see some declines in sales. Because a lot of us are, using our discretionary income to purchase yarn. And I know that over the last few months, we've all experienced the rise in inflation and things are costing more. So the availability of those funds has shrunk. But if you have the means to support your local yarn shop, please do so. And I hope to see some of you out shopping on local yarn shop day on April 30th. So that's it for now. Cheers. And I will see you in a couple of weeks probably with a report on the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival. Asante Sana.